by Karen Hill. Hey! You are locked in. You know what it is. Pour up a glass of wine, ladies. Let the Henny flow, fellas. And get ready to turn the fucking speaker up to lip chatter. It's Karen Hill live on Say It Loud Radio on your favorite internet platform, streaming live.
Wow. Hi, it is another episode of Say It Loud podcast with your girl Karen L here. Mic check. It's been forever since I have sat down and went live with so many people, but you know, if I don't have a project that I'm proud of, I don't put it out. So we got to get it right. Today on Say It Loud podcast, we have Micca joining us. Hi, Micca. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm hanging in there. How's life right now?
Phenomenal. Busy, but phenomenal.
Well, busy's good, right?
Busy's always good. That means you're in the band.
All right. So tell everybody a little bit about you, Micca.
So my name is Micca. I'm a rapper. I'm a singer. I'm a dancer. I'm an entertainer. I'm in media. I interview celebrities. I interview non-celebrities, people in the industry, people just doing big influencing. Pretty much, I run the gamut. Red carpet, all of that.
I love it. We're going to talk about that in a minute, but Micca's dropping by the Say It Loud podcast today and in my hot seat. So we're going to do what we do, a little pop culture remix, to get things warmed up. Did you see the Wendy Williams documentary?
I did not. However, I heard about it. So because I've been so busy, I haven't had time to really watch anything, but I definitely want to watch it.
Yeah. What did you hear?
I heard that Wendy was just like, it's so sad because I heard she's like out of her mind on there, that they can see certain things, that people are taking advantage of her, that you see a little bit of the old Wendy, but then you see the new, not all there Wendy. So it's kind of like good and bad. I want to see it though.
I watched the first half and then I didn't watch the second half. I just felt like the first half was a bit too much for me. I actually felt bad for her. And I know I was on social media and a lot of people were like, oh, this is what she gets. She used to talk about people and that karma and da 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 da. But I still feel like she's a human being just doing her job.
Correct.
And that was her job and that's what worked for her and that's what sold. But like, I don't want to see somebody suffering like that.
And the thing about it is too, like people say that's her karma, but it's like, okay, so if somebody regular does something that's quote unquote, I guess bad, you go out and get hit by a car, that's your karma. Like,
right.
Like,
I think she's human. I do really think that she's an icon. I think she's a legend. Definitely. I think she's done more good.
Yes.
Right. For the industry of radio and culture than she has done, with her just gossiping about people. Like Howard Stern gossip about people. We don't be wishing him no bad karma. So
yes. And I always said that. I'm like, I don't understand that. Like Howard Stern does the same thing. He brings people on. But Wendy, I don't think she just gossips. I think a lot of times she does have the intel. That's probably why they don't like her, because she usually has the intel.
But it sells. And so when it's selling, that's what works for her, because that's what got her in the places that she wanted to be. What about the new J-Lo project? Have you seen that?
No, and I'm the biggest J-Lo fan, but
really
the trailer it's not giving me motivation.
It's not given.
No, and I might just have to watch it and not watch the trailer, but. Yeah.
I don't know how much of a J-Lo fan I really am. Like, I love that she's from the Bronx. Because I love everybody from the Bronx. And I love an underdog story. So I love that she's from the Bronx and made it to where she is. But like, do I want to go out of my way and sit and watch this? Not unless y'all like really give me some feedback that says I should.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like I said, it's not given. I want to really sit down and watch it, but maybe on a weekend I'm not doing something. I might go and watch it. I might be
them
surprised.
Snow days pass, girl. So we gonna see. All right, so let's get into our guest cipher with you, Micca. All right, so Micca, I wrote it all down because I was like, you know what? This is a lot. So, Micca, you are an artist, a singer, a writer, a podcaster, a TV host. You are on the Realish TV. You have new music out and new music dropping. Girl, when do you sleep?
Never, like 4 hours.
How did you get so many titles?
I guess because I just wanted to entertain, right? Like I
Right.
never wanted to just, pigeonhole myself. So I'm like, if I'm doing this, okay, I did this. I don't want to just sit here. What else can I do? So then I'll go and do something else.
Uh-huh.
So that's pretty much how I did it.
Yeah. This is an amazing resume, though. So tell us about the show that you're on right now.
So the show that I'm on right now is called The Realish, and we basically interview celebrities or big influencers, people that are really big in the community, especially here in the DMV area.
Mm-hmm.
And then just, people that everybody knows in general. Sometimes they're big celebrities, sometimes they're local celebrities. So it's just, pop culture.
Yeah. Have you had a favorite interview to date?
Yeah. I think my favorite interview was probably the last interview we did. And it was with Jennifer King, who's the first female position coach in the NFL.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I saw that like on a news somewhere.
Yep.
That's a big deal to have a woman as an NFL coach, because in history we have not had that before.
Yep.
That's
And she's a woman of color. So like
right.
she's like, it's like all the boxes,
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
what was the weirdest interview you've had?
oh man, I can't remember the guy's name, but it was an artist.
Uh-huh.
And I do the music portion, and I'm just sitting there, and it's just like he's just looking at me and I'm looking at him, and usually I can just pull stuff out, but he was just so dry, like I just couldn't get it. So we had to retake it a couple of times. I was just like, okay, what else do I ask, but
Yeah.
that's probably the weirdest one.
Yeah, I think some people are just like that, though. They're just naturally like, you're sitting there and you're like, okay, I'm trying to start a conversation, and they're very short answer people. Like there are people like that in the world.
This was like, yeah, no, yeah. I'm like, expound just 3-4 more words.
Does he say anything else? That I don't know what I would do. I would bang my head against the wall if I was having an interview like that, because I'd be like, look, sir.
Yeah. I wanted to, but I was just like, we can keep taping it. This is not live. We can keep taping it. We'll find something. So.
Yeah, that's a lot of work though, because it changes the energy of your interview.
Yeah, it does. And a lot of the times I'll go to them beforehand and try to get questions. But even the questions that I went to beforehand, he was just so short. It was just like, I can't even fill up the 2 minutes. It's only 2 minutes.
Yeah. But you know what? There are very talented people who, despite being talented, are very shy.
Yeah, I can get that. But at the end of the day, you have time, you know the questions, I make sure I do that.
You knew I was coming. We made a plan.
We can, and we can keep going and, redo it because it's not live and you still don't say anything.
So how did you get started in this work? Like in any of it? Like what happened? Like how old were you when you were like, you know what? I'm going to be famous, so I'm going to just do this.
Probably 3.
Really?
Yeah, I was about 3 years old, and I was in pre-K. Like it's my first memory, and I did a stage play called The Littlest Christmas Tree because I'm extremely short. Most people don't know that, but I'm only like 4'10". So when I was 3, I was like really short, and I had lines and everything, and they were so impressed that I remember the whole thing, and I was only 3. So probably since 3, I wanted to do just act, entertain, sing, whatever. And my dad was also an entertainer in the music industry. So, I had that big influence. And everybody in my family sings. Everybody. Literally.
So let's talk about the music. So you have new music out.
Yes.
We're going to get into it and play a couple tracks so everybody can hear. But let me know, what was your writing process like for these 2 songs?
So actually, Pristine, which is the song that's actually out right now, that came about just really working with my engineer. My engineer is also a writer, and sometimes he hears little melodies, and he gave me a melody, and I love the melody, and so I just went in there and started, singing. But my other talent is that I rap, so I was just like, oh, I sound so nice and meek and mild on the song. I'm like, I'm gonna put a rap on here, and he's like,
Right.
what? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna put a rap on here. That way, that'll be my aggressive side, and then I'll go back. So it was fun.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into it. We're going to play it right now so everybody can hear it. You want to introduce it?
So again, my name is Micca, and this is my song Pristine.
Oh my gosh, Micca, I loved it. I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
So do you write both, you wrote all of it?
All of it.
And how long did that take you?
It took me probably about, I'll say 3 hours because, like I said, my engineer had the melody. So
Right.
I had to work with the melody and kind of figure out what works and what didn't work. But I just sat there and we just wrote it out, and
That's so
that was
cool.
it.
That's so cool. So that is out now on all
Yeah.
major platforms. You could
Yes.
stream it anywhere.
Yes.
So you are an artist, a singer, a rapper, a songwriter,
Yes.
a TV host,
Yes.
and very soon you'll be in the podcast community.
Yes, I'll be in the podcast community. I cannot wait because I'm very excited for the guests that I have coming on. Everybody in their own right is just like really taking off, really doing their own thing. Um, and it's something new that I'm going to be doing, not completely by myself, of course, because I have a team, but it's the first time where I will be like doing a lot by myself.
Yeah. So
So.
what is like the podcast theme? Is there like a theme to it or anything like that? Like what genre are we looking at?
So the podcast is called the Red Cup Podcast. And the reason why I call it the Red Cup Podcast is because it has a theme based off of like when you go to a party, you got your red solo cup, you get the drink in and everything, you kind of start letting loose, telling the truth
Mm-hmm.
about things. And this podcast is really going to be talking about a lot of different topics, having fun, but being open and honest enough to where you can, share different points of view and actually hear different points of view versus just, pandering or just sticking to one side of the argument.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like that's really important because I hear a lot of pandering. I don't like
It's a lot
pandering.
of pandering,
I
a
don't like
lot.
pandering though.
I don't at all on nothing, gender roles and anything, politics. Like if you have a stance, you have a stance, and I'm okay with it. I like to understand everybody. So
Yeah, I'm okay with everybody having a stance. I just feel like sometimes it just, for me, in the, like on social media, it just gets, because I listen to other podcasts to get
mm,
ideas, to get themes, to get, you know, just to be, enlightened. And sometimes I'm just like,
yeah,
is this
yeah,
pandering? Like, it doesn't hold my attention either. Because I feel
yeah.
sometimes we're just having the same conversations over and over again.
Yeah, and that was the other thing I wanted to stay away from, not having solutions, right? So when you have the conversation about something, I think you should be able to provide solutions as well. But they keep having the same conversations, especially in the gender war that they like to
Yeah.
talk about.
This show doesn't do that. We don't really have a gender war over here. This is all about life just being fun,
Yeah.
and the world is already hard enough. So like why not be in a space where you could just walk away feeling good?
Always,
Um
always. Yeah.
and um yeah, I think that people listen for that. They listen to have a good time. They listen because it turns out everything else. We did talk a
Yeah.
lot about relationships, but not from the pandering standpoint or male female, just more like the self-reflection part.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm not gonna understand that. Like my whole thing is the whole accountability on either party, not
Yeah.
pandering to either side, just because Like I'm really big on that, finding solutions, what can be fun in relationships, what's dull, what's good, what
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like we put a lot of energy on this whole relationship thing too. Like people just feel like all they want to talk about. Like that's why I stopped doing it on my show. Cause it got to the point where it was just like, yo, do you guys not want to talk about anything else? Like there's so many things going on in the
because people
world.
think that's the only thing they can debate about. And sometimes, and that's another
We
thing I
got
wanted
bigger
to do.
problems than
I
that.
wanted to have range, right? So we're going to be talking about all types of things. Like I'm into pop culture, meaning it can be relationships, it can be political stuff, it can be athletes, sports.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I like the idea of mixing it up because I also
Yeah.
think people don't want to hear the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
And there's also people that, like me, who don't watch the news and don't know what's going on in the world. And
Oh,
so
so
they
you're
might
definitely
need to
happy.
listen. I stopped watching the news a couple of years ago because it's all bad news.
That's
It's
why I
like
said you're
60
definitely
minutes of
happy.
bad news. Like, why I want to watch that?
Yeah, you're definitely happy. Yeah, yeah. I stopped.
But
I stopped a long time ago,
yeah,
just
my mom was
watching and
like, "You don't
watching.
watch the news?" I was like, "No." She's like, "How you find out the weather?" I'd be like, "Alexa, duh."
Yeah, that's a good
Because
idea. Yeah, that's definitely a good idea. And and you don't have to worry about being swayed one way or the other.
yeah, no, I don't really engage in anything that like I want to know enough, but not enough where it's consuming. I go to my
Right.
parents' house and they have the news on for hours. Like they
And they
don't
know
turn it
that.
off. I don't know what happens when you get to a certain age. You just need to watch the news every day, all day. Like I don't get it.
Yeah,
And I'm like, why do you guys do that? Like that's just giving you anxiety and making you
it
anxious. Like it
does.
would
It does, and they know that. And they know that. And they know that. And they just want you to keep doing it and keep doing it. That's why it comes on all day, the same talking points that, no matter what side you're on, it just beating you in
yeah,
the head with
no,
it.
I
Like,
will not I will not subscribe. I will not do
I
that.
agree. I agree.
I will not subscribe. If I really need to know, it'll come on my feed. It'll come to my phone. One of y'all will call me, but I don't sign up to put myself in a position where I'm just going to feel weighted when I get
Yeah, that's why I said you're definitely happy.
up. Maybe because sometimes the less the better. So what's next for you? What are you going to be working on next?
So outside of the podcast, I'm going to be working on another single. Actually, two singles, but one at a time. So I'm going to be working on that. I'm also going to be working on different show ideas. I'm going to be doing more red carpets. It's going to be a busy year for me.
I
So
love
I'm
that for
excited.
you. I
I'm
love that
excited.
for you.
Thank
I
you.
love that. I feel like busy is good. Booked and busy is good. However, how do you like rest? What does your self-care look like?
So I probably sleep about, and most people find this crazy, but I probably only sleep about 4 hours.
Why?
Um, because I can function, right? And I can, I get the best, I get the best like ideas like in the middle of the night
Yeah.
when it's still and quiet. So I really don't go to sleep until like maybe 4 in the morning, something like that.
Wow.
And so I go and then I get 4 more hours. So I'll probably wake up about maybe 8 or 9 o'clock.
Okay.
And then, and I'm still up early enough where I can
Where the
function
day
with everybody
starts.
else. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's pretty much what I do. And then I meditate in the morning.
Okay. So meditation is important. What about like any rituals when you're writing or anything like that? When you're writing music that you do?
Um, I don't have, I don't have a process at all.
That's
So
probably a good thing, actually.
yeah, my process is just whatever I hear, whatever I feel, I just write it down because I think if you pigeonhole yourself to a certain type of process, you kind of end up sounding the same all the time.
Right.
And one thing I do like that my fans say, they're like, we can tell it's you on every record, but it always sounds like something different. And I'm
Right.
like, good. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I also think that's good because it's just more organic. I think organic art, it's an art, right? Being a writer, being a musician, being a speaker, whatever, it's an art. And, you know, you got to feel something in that moment to create that piece of art. And if you, I know for me, if I force myself to write, I could do it, but it's not going to be as good as if I am, you know, inspired.
Yeah, I mean, I'm inspired all the time. I hear stuff when I'm asleep. I hear stuff when I listen to other people's podcasts, and it, you know, it inspires me. When my friends talk, when I hear people outside say something, like sometimes I'll just doodle something in my notes, so I can come back to it. So I'm inspired by pretty much anything.
Wow.
Really.
Wow. Yeah, that's dope. Because you know, not a lot of people could do that. Some people, I ask them what they're inspired by. They don't have anything to say, or they tell me another person.
Yeah, see, and that's another thing. Like I have artists that I do like, but I don't I don't I don't listen to them because I don't want to be, you know, I don't want to get that on because I'm creative.
Right.
So I'd rather just use that versus if I sit and listen to someone and study someone, like I can mimic stuff.
Right.
Which is what I do when I write for other artists. And I do also references. So I reference tracks and send them to the exact artist. So if you're, you know, I don't know, Nicki Minaj, and you want a song, I can mimic your voice.
Right.
And send you that. But I don't want that to seep into my own artistry. So I try not to listen to
keep it very separate. That's so cool. That's so cool that you do that too.
Yeah, it's fun. I like it.
Can you do a voice for us now?
Lord.
Well, I want to hear. Okay, do one. Maybe I can guess who it is.
No, well, all my friends, like when I do Nicki Minaj, because they say I always do her voice pretty good.
Okay, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it.
Okay.
I told you was gonna have a good time on this show.
So, like, you guys, I want you all to really. Oh, hi, Tasha. Yeah. Okay, baby. Okay. So, you guys,
she really does sound like that.
Want to get you all, and I just feel like I'll be on the live and laughing. I'm like, Nikki, speak.
That was so good. That is so. I had to get my little button out for that because she really does sound like that. She really does. That is so fun.
She kills me, but I love Nikki. But I just be like, girl, speak faster.
She's consistent though. You know what you're gonna get.
Yes.
So exactly. That is so cool. You can do like Nikki impersonations.
Yeah, I try to do them all, and you're like another girl from the Bronx. I do because I'm Cuban. I use my little accent. I do Cardi sometimes.
All right, let's go. Where's Cardi? I love Cardi. I told you was gonna have a good time on this show. Do Cardi. I love Cardi, by the way. Like I like Nicki. I do love Nicki, but I just love Cardi's like glow up story.
So you know, like I try to like I don't do no. You guys, you just have to I guess, you know, I don't know the words.
I don't know the words.
Because she be trying to get the words, and I'm like, God, you know, she's trying to say you're gonna make it worse.
I love it. I love that for her. She'd be like, I don't know. She really don't know the words though. She's like, she tries.
You know what I'm trying to say? Like, no, what are you talking
about? I love her. I love Cardi because I feel like Cardi, she just embraced wherever she was and took it. Like I've been following Cardi before she was Cardi. I was following Cardi when she was a stripper because my daughter told me she was following her. And I was like, why are you on social media following a stripper? And then she was like, Mom, she's funny. And I was like, but why are you also? Let me see what you're looking at. And
she's definitely funny. I think that's her strong suit, right? And I think she I think she will fare like really good, like just doing, shows or something like that. Like I think she would do really good because she's stressing herself out right now with this music.
Yeah, I think she'll be all right. I think she's funny. I think
She's definitely
she
funny.
is willing to work.
Mhm.
And I think that she's made a brand for herself and
Yeah,
she's done good with the platform that she had. Like a lot
yeah,
of people would have took it and fumbled it.
yes,
She took what she had, social media. She moved from social media to Love and Hip Hop. She did one season. She was like, get my name out there. I'm going to move to the next thing. She dropped the music and, other people would have fumbled. They would have made bad decisions. And I'm
yeah,
sure her road wasn't perfect if I asked her,
right.
but she took the opportunities. She took the opportunities that probably other people wouldn't have taken, and she made it into something from nothing. And you gotta respect somebody that does that.
Most definitely. And you also have to respect that, a lot of the times it's very hard to break into the industry.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can use different avenues, why not?
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm a big Cardi fan. I not the music so much.
Yeah, I like some songs, because I'm big on like a lot of lyricism. Some of the
Yeah,
songs do have some bars, but
yeah.
I like more lyrics than I like, just party songs. But I still think she's a good artist.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely enjoy her. All right, so we're gonna move on to our motivation mix. That
Okay.
is our mix segment of the show where you're gonna give us some motivation. So you're gonna drop some motivation on us. What keeps you motivated, and how do you motivate somebody else?
What keeps me motivated is being able to do what I want to do. So that keeps me motivated. And I would say if I'm going to give somebody else motivation, it's really honestly to do what you love and do what makes you happy. Because if not, you're not going to do it to the fullest. And you're not going to reap the rewards from it because you're not doing it to the fullest.
So that is your motivation. Make sure you do whatever you're doing to the fullest. All right. Now for our relationship remix. I need a funny story that starts with the funny story is, or some relationship advice that you want to give everybody out there in podcast world.
I think I will give relationship advice.
All right,
Um,
let's go.
let's see. I think if you are a woman, you should definitely try to be funny. And I think it's because
Hmm.
sometimes women, we get too serious and things like that. And it's nice to be goofy sometimes.
I love that. Well, I'm goofy all the time, but I love that for all of y'all in podcast world because I tend to agree. I actually never heard that advice before given by someone, but I actually agree. I'm very fun. I play too much.
Yeah, me too.
I play too much, but I'm
Me
not gonna
too.
stop. I can tell you that I'm not gonna
It's
stop
always
it.
good to make somebody smile. And
But
you'll get a lot more when you make people smile than,
yeah,
always down their throats.
not only that, like, don't you want a relationship that's fun? Like, don't people
some
want
some
relationships that
people.
are fun? I
Some
want to
people.
be having a good time.
Some people. You'll be surprised. I see people, they're just like always mad. And I'm like, you don't even have anything to be mad about, but you're finding something. So
I told someone maybe about a year or two ago, I was like, there's this narrative. Now we're going to get a little deep. There's this narrative. I don't know if it's in other countries because I don't live anywhere else. I only live here in America. I don't really know what happens in other places. But
mhm,
I feel like there's a narrative, especially in the Black and brown community or social media, or maybe it's a certain age range because my parents
mhm.
don't really act like this too much. A little bit, but not too much. Where instead of us providing the unity of couples, we're constantly bashing each other, like women bashing their husbands, husbands bashing their wives, like jokes that would make somebody feel hurt. Like what? Like it's almost like nobody has a happy, healthy relationship, and I don't believe that. Maybe I'm a unicorn, but I don't believe that. I think there's people that are just normal and happy, and they go to work and then they come home, they eat their pasta, they watch TV, they take a shower, they chill. You know what I'm saying? Like I do think that there's people that are just happy.
Yeah.
And we have this narrative where we're constantly, you know, my friends don't do it now, but I have new friends. I like these ones. But I've had friends in my life where it was just like every time we got together, all they would do was complain about they man. Like the whole entire time. And you're like, yo, bro, I'm tired. Yo, take me out the group chat.
Oh, I'm one of those people. Like my friends already know. Like, don't call me with the same. If you talk to me about him last week, it better be a totally different subject. And that's only because like I feel like sometimes people just want to complain. I'm like, if you're not going to do anything about it, like if you're not leaving, then what's the point? Like, what's the
No,
point
I don't think
of
they
complaining
want to
about it?
leave. I don't
They
think they
don't,
want to
but you
leave. I
want to
think it's
complain.
just this thing in our culture
But you want to
where
complain. It's just it to me it's just asinine because it's like when do you get to feel good? Because you're complaining all the time.
yeah, they don't want to feel good though, because they're gonna find something to complain about. And
Yes.
I don't understand. I really do feel like I don't know. And then I told my sister, I don't know if this is who's listening to this show, but I was like, is it a racial thing?
You know what? So see, being
Because
that
my white friends don't do that.
I was getting ready to say, being that my family is mixed race, I never saw it, right? So I'm looking like, is this a thing when it's the same race and 9 times out of 10 people of color? Because I can tell
Yeah.
you now, my white family members, if they got tired or something, they would just, okay, we're done, right?
My
That's
white friends don't do it. They'll just be like, we broke up.
that's what I just said. We're done.
Yeah,
We're done.
that's it. That's all you get.
We're
Like,
done.
it
And
wasn't
that's who
working.
I grew up
We
with.
broke up.
Yeah, and I grew up with my mom's family, the white side. So, my tolerance is like, I want to be happy, I want to have fun, things like that. So, I never sit there and do all that. But
Yeah, I
I
never
do
got
have I
that.
do have friends, and they're just, I'm like, girl, how do you deal with that?
But
You gotta,
why? Why are you doing that to yourself, to your friends, and to your partner? Because at the end of the day, that's your partner you're doing
yeah,
that to. So
yeah,
now you're just out here bashing your partner the whole entire time. And what are
yeah.
other people going to think about them?
Yeah, and that's why on my podcast I really want to touch on that because I'm a person of color, right?
Right.
And I'm in the Hispanic and the African American community, so and I see a lot of how we are in relationships. So I want to kind of break that and tell women, especially women in my generation, that there's another way to do stuff. So
I feel like I did not learn so much of that, honestly, till I went to
mm,
therapy. Like I went to therapy, and I went to therapy after I came out the hospital because I had asthma attack. Like it was nothing big that happened in my life,
okay,
relationship wise, or anything like that. Like I didn't go when I got divorced. I didn't go probably all the times I should have. I came out the hospital after I had a really bad asthma attack, and I was like, I need to go to therapy because I'm mad at everybody, right? And I had to deal with some shit.
okay,
I did. I had to deal with some shit because it was the first time in my life that I felt threatened. I felt like
okay,
my life was threatened. And I was like, I
okay.
need to work through that because I'm angry. Nobody did anything to me. Just my lungs stopped working. I had to deal with that. You know what I mean? Because the doctor's like, you got to take medicine. And I'm like, for how long? Because I'm a how long person. Like, I can
Okay.
do it. Just tell me how long. And he said, forever.
Mm.
And I was like, okay, call a therapist because I don't want to commit to this forever.
And you know what? I tell people sometimes to always look at the bright side of the negative, right?
Yeah.
So even though, I can see how you like, oh my God, I got to take this forever, right? But if that would have never happened,
Right.
would you been able to get therapy? Like, would you have sought that out?
I probably would have never went to therapy because I'd have been like, I don't need it. And
Right.
I'm still in therapy, and it's been almost 3 years later, and I'm still in therapy. And it wasn't until I went to therapy that I realized like the generational curses that you're carrying or the learned behaviors that you're carrying out into the world. Forget just the relationship with a partner, because we dwell on that so much. You are just moving in a space where you are carrying all of these things that you need to unlearn, all of these, like we learn things and we think it's the right thing, but it wasn't the right thing, or we're carrying these generational curses, or we assume these are the things that we need to do. And I was like, oh snap, I need to unlearn and unpack some of this stuff. So I unpacked it and dropped it. And then I was like, I have to unlearn it because this is not healthy. The way I was taught was not the right way.
Yeah.
And I
most
think people
don't know
don't
how
do
to
that.
communicate. No, they don't. They don't know how to communicate. And then they walk around, with the chip of it's everybody else. And
Right.
I'm like, well, who's the common denominator? Like, who's
Right.
in this all the time? You.
Yeah.
So it's good that you got that. But yeah, a lot of the times people don't seek any type of help, whether it's self-help or therapy. And by the time they really realize it's too late, they're older, they can't really do anything about it. Nobody wants to talk to them, nobody wants to deal with them. You
Yeah.
know.
I
And
think also people think that it's a bad thing.
yeah, because they know that somebody's gonna hold them accountable.
It's not a bad thing to take care of yourself, though. I
No.
tell people this: if your heart doesn't work, you see a cardiologist. If
Hmm.
your foot don't hurt, it hurts, you see a podiatrist. If your tooth hurts, you go to the dentist. Well, if your soul needs some support, you need to go get that. The same
Yep.
way you take care of the physical parts of your body,
Yep.
right? You need to take care of your emotional and mental state as well. And I was okay. Like, nobody bothered me. I was just like, I just need to be okay with what was happening to me,
But
you
that can
know?
also affect your body as well. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people don't realize if you're depressed, that can also affect,
Yeah.
depressed. That can, affect a lot of things. Your mental state has a lot to do with, your body.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I'm big on take care of your body. We only get one.
yep,
We
yep,
only get one. All
I'm
right.
definitely doing
So
it.
are you ready for our confession cipher?
Sure.
All right. You gotta make a confession in the Safe Loud hot seat.
Hmm. Is there a specific type of
No.
confession?
No. Something that might be funny, maybe. But it doesn't have to be.
Oh gosh, what kind of confession can I
I don't
do?
know. I don't know.
Um,
Have you ever stole your brother's wallet? I don't know.
um,
Like, I'm still not confessing that.
I okay, so I will confess that the reason why as a kid, and my siblings will probably see this, but the reason why as a kid I never got any spankings is because I always told my parents my siblings did it. And it's so bad, but
Somebody's gonna cut this and send it to. How many siblings do you have?
oh my gosh, I am the oldest of 13.
Oh my God, they finna beat you up, girl.
Yeah.
And you're the oldest?
So it was easier because I could do the communicating, and I'm watching. I'm like, yeah,
Just,
he just knocked it. I told him not to do it,
man,
but
you just let the baby get beat like that? Oh man,
my
listen.
dad was the general, so I didn't want no parts of that.
You know what?
And my
13?
brothers were bad, so it was kind of easy to
That's
just be like,
crazy.
that's them, and they would be like, what I do? My dad didn't even question it because he's like,
I know it was them. That's terrible. But you ain't get beat
yeah.
though, so hey, you
I
gotta
didn't
do what
get.
you gotta
So when
do.
everybody talking, they're like, "Yeah, when I was little, I used to get spanked." I'm like, "I never got one."
It's so me you learn your life skills really early, is what you're telling me.
It was survival. It was survival.
I mean, I feel like with 13 siblings, that's survival, right?
It's definitely survival because I mean, y'all are you're watching out for yourselves, but you're also watching out for each other. So sometimes I would pick one to help, and I
Yeah.
couldn't help the other one. Or if one didn't listen to me, I'm like, "I got you." Next time he says something, I'm not saying anything.
Wow. Are
It
you
was
guys
a lot.
close now?
We're very, very, very close. It's like we're all over the DMV area.
Yeah.
So some of us are in Baltimore, some of us down here in DC, some in Virginia. So
They're close enough.
yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah. We're
cool.
close enough.
That's
Yeah.
really cool. How do they feel? Like, how does the family feel about your career?
My mom pretty much says she knew I was going to do it anyway. Like she always says you're exactly like your dad. So anything I do, she's like, "Yep, that's your dad." So she already knew.
Yeah.
Especially since from a little girl I've been doing that stuff and in the choir, I'm acting, I was in theater, doing this and that, I'm in ballet. So yeah, and these are the things I asked to do. My mom didn't put me there. So
Right. Right. And it's so nice that it came to fruition.
Yes, yes. And my mom was like, "You said you was gonna do it." I was like, "That's what I said." And she's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, yeah, you just like your dad." So,
Yeah.
yeah.
She knew. Like it doesn't
Like it's in your
surprise
blood.
her. Yeah,
Yeah,
she knew.
it's in your blood, and like when it's really in your DNA, like you can't like if you look at like the Jacksons, right? Like
Hmm.
it's in their DNA. I don't think they could do anything else.
Right.
And I know with myself, like I can't do anything else other than what I'm doing.
That's cool. That's cool. Are you happy?
I'm definitely happy. Like I like I really couldn't see myself just doing anything when I first started out when I was a teen and in my really early 20s. I used to just be like, I'm gonna work this job, but then I would be at the part-time job, like writing or doing something other than the job. And I
Right.
said, yeah, I can't. So that's when I stopped and I just started pushing at it full time. And anything I think you push at hard enough and long enough,
Yeah.
you'll get it.
Yeah. 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 If you really want it, you're gonna do what you gotta do
Hmm.
to go out there and get it. So
Hmm.
so where do you see yourself like in 5 years from now then?
Man, I see myself with, platinum singles, and I want to bring out other artists. I want to have my own studios. I want to get into the different, futuristic things like AI.
Hmm.
Those type of things where you can be an artist and want to be performing in Beijing, but you gotta perform in Miami.
Right.
So now you use like different AI technologies because I think that's where it's going, but I think we can use it to help us as well, not just
Right.
eradicate us. So
Yeah. Yeah. I think AI is going to be helpful. I mean, it's going to be like the internet, right? It's going to be helpful in a lot of
yeah,
ways. And if you abuse it, it's going to be no good
it's
for
like
you. It's
anything
like,
else. Correct.
yeah, it's like anything else. You just got to know, you got to balance how much of that, to have. What kind of other artists or music do you want to put out? And who would you love to work with?
Oh, Janet, I
Yeah.
love Janet Jackson, like that. Love. So that's one. Probably and it's so crazy because, now everything, even though I like Beyonce, everything now is gonna be a tribute to Beyonce with country. But I grew up listening to country music because I grew up with my grandparents. So yeah, I would love to write country music because for the life of me, I don't have a country voice, so it's not happening.
You never know. K Michelle, right? K Michelle sang
But K
country.
Michelle has a country voice, like she has that little,
I don't know.
country twang. I sound like an up northerner,
Neither
like
does Taylor Swift, but she's countryed out. So, do you
yeah,
listen? Country, I don't know if people know this, but like when I worked for the radio station, they told me country music is like the number one selling music
yes,
in the
it
United
has.
States.
Yes, 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 yes.
So, I live in New York. So everybody's like, okay, well, there's hip hop and there's pop, but country
Country
music,
music is everywhere.
that's
Um,
what sells.
yeah, I'm a big Shania Twain
I
fan.
like Shania.
Um, I love Carrie Underwood.
Carrie, yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of different country artists, old and new, that I listen to that are good. So yeah, country. I would love to write for some artists, even put out an artist. Like I like the behind the scenes stuff too.
Yeah.
So I want to really dive into that and curate, other women and help propel them.
I love this. I love this. I'm like,
Mhm.
how do you? Okay, so you have all of these wonderful things going on. I'm not going to hold you too much longer, but how do you like plan and prepare for this? Do you write it down? Do you just see what happens? Are you like, all right, I'm going to plant the seeds now and watch them come to fruition? Or are you like, I'm waiting to be inspired? Like, how do you plan where you're going to be or
Uh,
what you want?
So I sit down, when I do my meditations, like, okay, what do I really want to get out of this year? And I'm not so much tied to the outcome versus the process, right?
Mhm.
Because if it's not enjoyable to me, I don't want to do it anyway.
Right.
So I'll sit down and say, okay, I want to be, at this goal with a million views or something like that. Okay, so I know I got to do a lot of videos. I know I got to do more content. I got to talk to more people. I got to perform more, things like that. So I focus more on the process than the outcome, because if you focus on the process, then the outcome is coming
Right.
regardless.
Right. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good. If you focus on the process, the outcome is coming. I like that. I'm gonna
Mhm.
do that tomorrow at the morning motivation. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that one. I gotta write that one down. I love that. All right. Well, it's almost time for us to wrap it up, but we are dropping gems. This is the segment of the show where you leave us with something. So what would you like to leave us with?
Every day, just smile, even if you don't believe it, because
Um,
something that's a habit becomes a belief.
That's a good one. I like that. Yeah, I feel like if you smile, you just feel better.
Yeah, yeah. And some people will say, "Oh, I'm smiling, I don't feel better." Keep doing it. I
Yeah.
guarantee you, you'll be like, even if you're looking at yourself, like you're still like, "Why the hell am I smiling?" And you'll start
Uh-uh.
to laugh. It's just
Yeah.
you'll start to feel better.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So even if you
Shift
don't
the
believe
energy.
it, do it anyway.
Yeah. All right. I love that. So smile every day, even if you
Every
don't
day,
believe it.
even if you don't
Mika,
believe it.
thank you so much for joining me on Say It Loud
Thank
Podcast Hot
you.
Seat. Where can we watch the show? We got a lot of rundown to do. Where can we watch the show?
So you can watch the Realish TV at the Realish TV on YouTube, and we also put it, little snippets up on Instagram and TikTok, and then you can watch the Red Cup podcast in about a month. I'll be finished all my first tapings, and you can watch that at Pop Culture Mika, which is my channel on YouTube.
Yay! So make sure you guys head over to YouTube, subscribe
Yeah.
now so that you can be there ready. Turn your notifications on so you can get your notifications
Yes.
when everything drops. And what about your social media?
My social media, every platform, is at Pop Culture Mika. Mika is spelled Micca. So Pop Culture Mika, every platform.
I love that. I love that. And what about the music?
And the music is on any streaming platform you can think about, from iTunes to Spotify to Amazon, and it's also on YouTube, doing really well right now. I already claimed it. It's going to a million, because I'm a little over more than a million right now, and it's only been out a
Nice.
month, so it's doing very well. So the music is on YouTube, and the music is on all streaming platforms
So
as well.
let's get the music numbers up, everybody. Head over to YouTube. Make sure you go listen to the track that's out. And then we have another track that's dropping soon. So there's
Yes,
new music coming
yes,
as well. So make sure
yes,
that you subscribe to that and get your notifications so you can know when new music comes
yes,
out.
yes.
Thank you so much, Mika, for
Thank
joining me on
you.
Stay Up Loud Podcast, for playing
Thank
all of my
you.
games with my
Yes,
confession and my relationship remix and my motivation. But I really wanted you to come on here and talk about you, but also for people to get to see you as a human and a artist and a
yes,
person, not just
you.
a list of things, because there's like an actual person.
Yes,
And I
yes,
want I want us to be able to embrace that and enjoy those parts about getting to speak with our guests that come onto the show and the artists that
I
share
thank
with
you.
us. So
I thank
thank you so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.